Have the poster up in the OMG way any minute. Just give me a minute and we'll be there.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Smack is working on the poster. We are in the OMG way. We're going to have a thread up here in a minute, and we're about to get started. So we got a lot of exciting stuff. Again, I apologize. I'm catching a cold, so my voice is not 100%, so you're not going to hear me yelling at you guys this week. I'm not going to be as fired up as I usually am, but I can guarantee you next week I'll be ready to rock and roll. So tonight we have a big night. We've got not only Smack as usual, we got Smack in the building. We also got Frank Keeney again. For those of you guys that missed the first webinar where we introduced him, Frank Keeney has a very strong e-commerce background. He's had a website since 2001, I want to say. I think that's the day.
Yep, that's it.
We came up with 2001. We showed his site and my site side by side, what we used to actually do back in the day. I started my first e-commerce site in 2002. We both sold for that long. And he's had a tremendous amount of success both in e-commerce and Amazon. And tonight he's going to be here talking a little bit about the latest model a lot of people are using to sell on Shopify. He's going to briefly go into that. But more importantly, he's going to show us a killer tool that he has started to use and begun to show some of his private coaching students that he has. This tool works very well with Shopify, and I think you guys are going to be blown away by exactly what it does. We also have a hot seat here that we're going to do live. Hot seat is for an e-commerce store. We got somebody on the line that's actually using this model to try and sell products online, and they've had a little bit of a rough start with their e-commerce store. So tonight they're going to get some tips and tricks from both Frank and I. We'll be critiquing that store and helping them make it a better store in hopes that they will get some sales. And as always, we got Smack on the line. Smack is actually going to recap some of the things she saw at ASD. She's going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're also going to talk about what we have coming up in some future sessions. I did have a little bit of extra things planned out, but again, like I said, since I caught this cold, I'm going to have to make up for them in the next couple of weeks. In the next couple of weeks in the future, we got a couple of other exciting things. We're going to have another hot seat with Jacob. I know Jacob's on the call here somewhere. I just saw him say, hope you feel better. We still have Jacob in line to get a hot seat on his Amazon product. So we're going to cover that particular Amazon product from A to Z. Where did he make mistakes? How could he improve it? And how does he go forward from what he has picked? The other thing is I don't have a webcam, guys. I am back in my hometown here, and they are doing some construction on my room. So pretty much I'm almost in an empty bedroom with a couple Yorkies running around. So I know you guys don't want to see that. And last thing, I just wanted to give a quick, I know we have a couple housekeeping things here. A couple people are asking, where are the replays for the previous webinars? I did send those into David Mills, so he might just be redoing the actual, not the editing, but the actual production when you finish recording it. Sometimes it messes up. I was on a kind of like a sketchy computer at that point. It was really messing up a lot of things. So he might have to be redoing that, but those should be available shortly. And also, there's still a bunch of videos that are still going to be rolling out here very soon. And for those of you guys that cannot go with me to China, we still have 2 seats left in China. If you're interested, just PM me and I'll get you in contact with John Gill. But even if you cannot go, I'll be sure to have my camera going and kind of give you guys a sneak peek behind the scenes of what happens in China when we're there. I see a lot of people that went to China with me. I see Kim Dunn. I see Susan H. See who else I see here in the actual. And well, Smack, of course, is here. We've got Smack. Smack went to China. She's going to China again. Smack actually led her own pack of wolves. She had an angry pack of wolves that were going around with her, searching through China to get new products. So Smack does a fantastic job in China. She traveled all over the place, even at times on her own, and this was her first trip. Isn't that true, Smack?
Yes, that was my first trip to China, but it worked well.
She attended China like a champ, actually. She, like I said, she was leading her own group of people. She had them out there. They were in the trenches. They were going to factories. They were taking cars into weird areas of China. I was even like kind of impressed. I was afraid to go some of the places that Smack went, but I was like, well, she even went to Yiwu. So Smack was all over the whole perimeter of China. So she'll be back there again. She definitely enjoyed that. And you'll be in Cabo too, Smack, so we'll see each other in a couple weeks here.
Yes, I've missed you.
Yeah, so we're going to be in the nice hot sun in Cabo, so I'll definitely bring an update for you guys from there. So let me see who else was in here that was on that particular trip. I see Ken Dunn, for sure. I see Mora, who's actually coming on in the upcoming trip, so definitely excited to see Mora again. I see a couple people that are actually headed over there and a couple people that were there. So definitely pumped for that, guys. But in the meantime, Smack, anything that you wanted to add before we actually get started here?
About China, ASD, anything in general?
Yeah, anything in general. It's pretty much we've got two things planned. We got Frank's particular app that he's going to talk about, and then we've got the hot seat. But other than that, we've got a lightning round of questions, and everything else is free for all.
Well, I guess I'll say I have a conference call happening next week to follow up on something I came across here at ASD, which may be a way for people to actually get started on Amazon without any inventory at all. So people should just stay tuned and be excited. It won't be next week, but somewhere in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I'm going to have I'm pretty sure we're going to have a great opportunity. Ty and Trig and I had met with a group the other day and are very excited about what they're doing. And then I have another prospecting and funnel tool that I'll be talking about in a few weeks as well. So there's good stuff coming up.
Awesome. And Smack, so is that new tool, can anybody use that? Is that for a particular level of seller, or can anyone use it?
The new one will be helpful for both novices and sophisticated users.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that sounds like it's quite exciting.
So that's sort of coming attractions, but accelerate your learning about the Amazon training, because I may have a very easy way for you to get started.
Awesome. Well, that's fantastic. And before we start, so Smack, did you want to go over ASD now before we get started here, or did you want to wait to do it till the end?
Well, I mean, I've answered some questions already. I'm not sure what other questions people have. It's been a really terrific trade show. You covered the 3 sections, and I gave some tips on the wholesalers. There is another big trade show next week, so if you're getting frustrated that you missed this, hop on a plane to Chicago Saturday morning, because the Chicago Housewares show, which is a really big one, is going to be running from Saturday through Tuesday. So there's still opportunities to do some U.S. sourcing. But I can answer some more. I'll go through and I'll be answering questions while Frank is doing his piece.
Great. Are you going to be at the Chicago Houseware Show?
Yes. I'll be home for 2 days and going.
Smack. World traveling. Jet setting all over the globe, guys. How does it feel like? Smack. Did we get the OMG thread started? That's a perfect way to start a hashtag. Let me turn my phone off. It's a perfect way to start a hashtag. Did we get that going yet, Smeg?
It's there.
Oh, awesome.
It's there. I think my first hashtag was Feel Better Liz.
Awesome. So let's get a hashtag jet setter for Smack as she's circling the globe and getting out there, telling us what's going on. Going back to ASD, Smack, since you are jet setting, hashtag jet setter, guys, what, if any, trends, did you see any trends emerging from ASD? Because I know that's usually not necessarily one of the spots that we see it, but just out of curiosity, was there any trends that you noticed?
Any trends? Well, I would say there were lots of people running around in wholesalers trying to put people on Amazon. It seems that everybody and their brother thinks they're an Amazon client consultant. And Trig and I were talking today as we were listening to people that was giving people bad advice. So I think we're definitely entering an era of, everybody now thinks they can be an Amazon consultant and an Amazon coach.
Right, and that's kind of like, actually, for us, everyone, that's a fantastic opportunity. I know it's kind of bad to say, wow, well, there's these guys running around, they're promoting the fact that they can put you on Amazon. It sounds like not the greatest thing in the world, but at some point, they're going to fail putting people on. It's very similar to what Amazon did at one point, and they're still doing today. Amazon is actively recruiting companies, and I hear from them time and time again, actively recruiting them to put them on Amazon as a vendor. So they did this in one instance with a particular company that I partner with, and they put them on Amazon, and basically all that happened was they put the company on Amazon and their products just sat there and collected dust. So not even Amazon themselves can guarantee a product's going to sell. Their goal right now is just to get as many products as possible, put them on Amazon because they want to have the world's largest selection, which they already do, but they don't want to stop there. They want to continually add products after products, and they really want to be the world's number one choice. They don't want anybody else to have a shot at coming in. So they are actively recruiting companies, and it's going to be no different once these consultants get these products up and they just can't sell them because the promotional ideas that were used in the past are no longer working. We have to be constantly adapting, and that's exactly what we do inside of OMG. Constantly out there. We got people inside of here like Smack that are jet setting all over the globe, finding out the latest and greatest. And so that's a really great thing about OMG. So that's very interesting, Smack. That's a continuing trend that we're going to see. I'm sure we're going to see that within China as well. And I actually recently came across a guy that started selling about the same time as John Gill did. And what he went ahead and did is he actually took this model a step further, and he teamed up with a Chinese factory. And now he is making about $40 million a year by just teaming up with that one factory and launching product after product. So again, this kind of model works in several different scenarios. I saw Mike Long attempt to do this 2 years ago at a Canton fair, and if he'd followed through, he would have had quite a bit of a hot one on his hand because the product he was going after absolutely exploded. So again, just think outside the box and continue to do things like that. So anything else to add about ASD Smack? And I'm sure we're going to get some questions throughout the webinar, so I'm pretty sure we'll talk later.
No, I would say just get off your butt, get out from behind your computer, and get out there is what I would say. Go anywhere.
Awesome. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and start talking a little bit more, a couple of different things that I want to talk about before we jump in with Frank. One of those things is exactly what Smack said. I know a lot of people actually got a ton of calls from people that I know, a ton of PMs. The people that saw me, I want to say it was a week ago on the Ty Lopez webinar. If you guys did not see that webinar, one of the things that I talked about on that webinar was there was a couple people, actually, how many people actually saw that? You guys can put a 1 in the OMG way if you saw that, because I'm not seeing a lot of participation here. So let's see if you guys saw that webinar. Let's start putting some 1s if you saw a webinar when I was on Ty last time around. Let's find out who actually saw it. And see. Okay, so there's a couple people that saw it. So I'll tell you guys the best part of that whole thing. Smack, did you see it?
No, I did not.
Okay, so the best part of the entire webinar, and I'll save you from actually having to see the entire thing, the whole webinar primarily dealt with just people that have had success inside of OMG and how they went ahead and did it, how the community is life-changing. We had Vivian Williams on there who said that last year, OMG absolutely completely impacted her life and changed it around 180 degrees. And the key thing that I actually saw, let's see what Helen is saying. Yeah, miss seeing me on the webinar. I'll actually show you right now the background, but you'll see why I keep the webinar off. You'll see that there needs to be, we're in the middle of actual painting the room and everything, and actually the guy was supposed to be here today, but I was like, I don't feel that good, so do not come, please. So I'll show you my background here for just a minute. But going back to the Thai thing, I'll turn it on for a second. And again, I got some crazy Yorkies in the back. So if you see one pop up, they've got a very, so you can see, guys, it's messy. We're moving things around. You can see the wall. It's not painted right because when I first kind of moved in here, because if you recall, like going back to my story, I had to move in to my mom's place because I could no longer afford my own because I was playing poker and the government took that money or froze that money. So unfortunately, I had to move back to mom's place, which you've hit rock bottom when you have to move in there. And she was kind of hurrying to paint the walls for me. As you can see, she did not do a very good job because she didn't finish painting them. You can see she never finished the top of the wall. So we're actually, the rest of this week, we've got a guy coming here to finish and change the color of the wall. So got the Yorkie bed in the background. And again, like I said, I don't feel that good. I got some puffy eyes. I'm going to turn off this webcam. I'm going to get back to the important thing that I was talking about. So the important thing that I wanted to focus on that was during the Ty Lopez webinar is the fact that there was a couple people in the audience that kept alluding to the fact that they couldn't afford to be inside of OMG. They only had $37 in their bank account. I only have $97 in the bank account. Basically, what I told them is, it's not my problem you've got $37 or $97 in your bank account. That's your problem. Honestly, I don't really care how much you have in your bank account, and I didn't say it like that. I said, I really don't give a shit how much money you have in your bank account. All I'm telling you is that there's a reason that you only have that much money in your bank account. And that reason is the fact that you don't get up off your ass, get up off your couch, and do something. And I basically told them, and I know the people that are on here will remember that. I said, if you guys are in LA and you want somebody to give you a good hard kick in the ass, come on down to Ty's house, and I will gladly kick you straight in the middle of the ass so that you get your ass in gear and start working your ass off. And basically that's the bottom line, because there's a reason why we're on these webinars. I mean, I told you guys, if you have a small budget, I told you exactly how I did it. I told you exactly how you have to do it. There's nothing stopping you. I have a cold, and I'm here talking to you guys, trying to get you riled up to do something. If you're sitting there telling me you only have $37 in your bank account, that's your problem. That's not my problem, because I can tell you one thing. I do not have $37 in my bank account. I know Smack does not. I know Frank does not. And if you guys are bitching about that, there's only one thing that you can do is you can get up off your ass and do something about it. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We're giving you the tools to get up off your ass, get out there, and make some freaking money. There's so many different ways. It doesn't have to be what we're telling you. You can go out there and do what Cotton's telling you. You can go out there and make some YouTube videos. That's kind of how I started. You can get out there and scan. You can decide you want to just go out there to thrift shops and do that. You can get out there and just pick up some clients. Start just going door to door. A lot of people used to do that back in the day. People used to sell encyclopedias like that, guys. Encyclopedias. I can't even remember using an encyclopedia. So, again, like I'm telling you, that's all you got to do. Get up off your ass and do something about it. Smack just told you what a lot of people are doing right now. Go to a trade show in your area. I guarantee you, ASD is a pretty big trade show, so I would imagine there's quite a few people out there pushing and peddling their services. I'm pretty sure there's some trade shows in your area that you don't even know about, that nobody is doing this. So that's all you've got to do is get up off the couch and do something about it. There is so many different ways that you can make money. That's all you got to do. And not even like, in my case, not even a cold's going to stop me. I'm still going to get out here and provide content for people. I'm still going to do my best and be out there and still even holler a little bit. Actually, interestingly enough, I filmed a video earlier just to kind of show people the events that I'm going to be speaking at. I'm going to be speaking at a couple different events. I only kept, there you go. Ken Dunn's talking about a trade show in Miami, April 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I'm going to be in Vegas at the Becker event then. But, again, plenty of people that are going to be in the Miami area. So I filmed a video. I'll be putting it up probably tomorrow morning because, like I said, unfortunately caught this cold. But you guys will get to hear about my local Miami meetup that I'm going to start holding. So I know Ken's there. I'm going to start to do that once a month and get things rocking and rolling in Miami. And everybody's invited, not just people that live in Miami, not just people that are in OMG. So we want to surround ourselves with a good, positive community of like-minded people, and that's going to get it started. So I'm pumped about that. So I think that's the one thing that I wanted to really talk about and focus on. I forgot the second one because, again, I'm not thinking 100% straight today. So with that being said, let's get to anything else you wanted to add that, Smack or Frank?
Well, when I first started my first e-commerce business, I figured out how to get free trade show booths.
There you have it, guys. Let's see what Frank did, whatever he had to do.
Yeah, I actually started a user group, and then I would get a free booth, and then I'd be in the booth, and it was sponsored by the user group was sponsored by my e-commerce business, And so that's where I got like my first whole bunch of customers. It got huge exposure in Las Vegas and different parts of California.
Wow, that's amazing, Frank. So, so by user group, was it just like a local group like you had, sort of like I was talking about my Miami meetup group?
Yeah, it was a local user group that was related to the products that I was selling. And we met once a month, and I would, there'd be different conferences on exactly the types of products that I was selling or very closely related. And I would just find out where they were taking place, and I would say, hey, I've got this such and such user group, and we help people with the information about the kinds of things that you're doing, and you have some like extra space, and almost all the time they'd say, oh yeah, we can give you this spot.
Awesome.
And so it was, that really was a huge jump start in my first couple of years because I didn't have the money for advertising.
Yeah, exactly. I can totally comprehend that. It's like I've been there as well. So good ninja tip from Frank. You guys got a ninja tip live while we're recording here. So perhaps somebody can make that work. It's, what was that, like 2001? So
yeah, 2001, 2002. I mean, you just think about guerrilla marketing tactics. I mean, you've got all sorts of events that anything that's related to what the kinds of the niche or whatever you're in, depending on what that is, you should be able to find something that is around that. And I mean, I used to troll. I was involved in all the like different forums and places online that were related, and I help people, and that was because I couldn't afford the advertising when I started.
Right. So yeah, exactly what Frank said. There are so many conferences and or trade shows for small niches that you cannot even imagine it. Get out on that TSNN website that Ty has talked about. Start getting out there. If you really want to make this work, Jack showed us some gems last week. All that stuff that Jack was talking about. Really, inside OMG, you have most of the tools available to you that you'll need to actually make this happen. A lot of times, all you need is that first person to give you a yes. There will be a lot of instances where people just give you yes without you even having your own product up. Just the fact that you can talk intelligently about the subject, people will give you jobs. It happened to Mark Cuban. For those of y'all that don't know Mark Cuban's story, I think this is Mark Cuban. I could even be wrong, but he was actually working in computer consulting, and he had a company, and he would put up just signs that he could do this computer work, and he didn't even know what the hell he was doing. It goes back to what we talked about with Richard Branson. When the opportunity makes itself available to you, just take it and figure out how you're going to do it later. And Richard Branson said it a lot smarter and a lot sexier than I just did, but the gist of it is the same. If you have an opportunity come up, just take it and figure it out later. That's exactly what Mark Cuban did, and now he's a billionaire. He's on Shark Tank. He's got a lot of sexy things going on because he took that opportunity. He didn't know what the hell he was doing, but at the end of the day, it was because he got his ass off his couch and he did something. He was tired of seeing $37 in his bank account. So again, guys, Frank gave a pretty good tip. Anything from you, Smack, that you want to add before we get started into this?
No, I think that's a great tip, and it's the same thing I said at the beginning: is just get off your butt and get out there and do something. I mean, it was really cool. The other night, we had the opportunity to meet a new OMGer who drove from Los Angeles so that he could spend one day at the show. We had a great dinner. He picked our brains, and it was really nice meeting him, and very enthusiastic about how successful he is already with his brand new e-commerce store. He started with e-commerce and is now looking to move on to Amazon. And it was really inspiring to listen to him.
Right. And a lot of times, guys, the success that comes from having just success networking in general. The video that I have that's coming out is about power networking. What is power networking? How do you power network? So I gave quite a few examples of how I began power networking. And one of the main things to take from that video is the fact that I know I've gone to a lot of events. I know Smack has gone to a lot of events. I know a lot of people that are in this call right now. I've met at events. I've met Maura. I've met Frank. Seeing who else has left comments. Helen, I've met her at several events. I've met a lot of you guys at events, but one of the things about events is that most people do, and this is what I used to do, so I talk about this in the video. I used to go to events, and the thing that would excite me most is because I'm a big homebody. Like, people actually probably wouldn't imagine that. Smack, would you imagine that I'm a homebody?
Well, it depends on where your home is, my dear.
So,
Depends on where your home is.
I'm a huge homebody. People don't understand that about me. So, one of the things that was difficult for me is when I would actually travel to these events. I would head out to the event, and it was like I would go to the event and think that the major part of the event and the best part of the event was to sit there, get there early, listen to the gurus talk on stage, and give me tips. I thought that was the best and the greatest thing about the event. What I soon came to realize, and I didn't actually realize this until after I had met Smack, which I met Smack at an event, and I hated and absolutely hated to go to the mixers or the cocktail parties or the after event parties because it was so awkward to me to have to stand there and mix with people that I didn't know. I didn't know what to say. I felt awkward. It felt stupid. It was just very intimidating to me. And the thing that finally forced me to get out there was I saw Richard Branson talk once. And one of the pieces of advice that he gave was he told people to party more. And so when he said that, I'm here thinking, like, what the hell is he talking about? Is he serious? Party more? I do not understand. But let me just listen to what he says. Let me do a Mr. Miyagi and Danielson. I'm going to just listen to what he tells me and see what happens. And so that weekend, I certainly did more than my fair share of partying. In fact, I even invited Smack out to party that weekend, and she passed. And weeks later, she figured out, oh my God, I should not have passed. Do you remember that weekend, Smack?
Oh, yes, I do. I do recall that weekend, and I guess I'd say there were some lines I wasn't going to cross in terms of going out to partying. I party though.
Yeah, well, she
went out to party.
Smack was gonna just stay in and do go to karaoke with Jason Fladley or do stuff like that. And I said, now, I'm going to go party with these guys that are with OMG. I don't know what they want. Mike Long and Cotton Grammar. I don't even know who Cotton Grammar is. But I'm just going to head out and party with them a little bit. And, look what happened. So like I said, that's one of the pieces of advice that I give in the actual video is get out there, feel awkward for a little while. You'll eventually meet some people and you'll see the same people going out over and over again. And that really, guys, is where the magic happens. That's where the secrets are revealed. That's where you'll learn the tips. That's where you create the relationships that can potentially last an entire lifetime as long as you develop them. And that truly is where the magic happens. So I certainly give everybody that piece of advice. Get out there, whether it's going to be at a power networking event like one that OMG sponsors. We got one in Vegas coming up, and or the Miami meetup that I'm doing. So we're gonna have we got a lot of mini ones going on within OMG. I just figured it's time to get a Miami one started because there's plenty of people in Miami, plenty of OMGers in Miami, plenty of non-OMGers in Miami. So I figure that's a perfect place, and or just going to an event. So with that being said, I'm a little bit out of breath because, like I said, I'm catching a cold here. I actually think I probably even have a fever, guys. So not a very good night for me. But let's get started here. So anything else, Frank or Smack, that you want to add? The only other thing was the Miami group. Is the only other thing that I wanted to talk about.
Okay, I just did want to say that Miami Trade Show on April 3rd might be useful, but there's something that's even more important for OMGers going on that weekend in terms of networking, and that's the OMG Assimilation event, and Alex Becker's 10 Pillars that are going to be on the other side of the country.
Right.
So if you can't make it to Vegas for that, you might want to, and you're in Florida, you might want to consider Miami. But if you can make it to Vegas, I would take action by coming to Vegas.
Right, and I will definitely be in Vegas. I'll be at the networking event in Vegas, and I think the week after is the week I'm going to have the Miami meetup. So if you cannot make it to either one, you can make the Miami meetup. Let me know. We haven't decided a venue yet, but we will be at a restaurant having some drinks, and if anybody wants to eat dinner, we'll be eating dinner. So that's going to be on tap once a month, similar to the LA meetup. I know Frank has gone to the LA meetup. I've gone to the LA meetup several times as well. It's a pretty good group of people. And it's pretty fun. We went to the Christmas party, if you remember that, Frank. They had an actual LA Christmas party, and we were at the White.
Yes.
That was kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, that was fun.
So we're gonna do.
That was a white elephant. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do the same thing in Miami. So, with that being said, I'll announce more details. They'll be coming very soon. But with that being said, let's get straight into what Frank wanted to talk about. So we're going to be talking tonight with Frank Keeney. Again, e-commerce expert, Amazon expert. Frank does a lot of different things. He's been on the internet since 2001. He's going to talk a little bit about were you going to cover a brief thing about some of the Shopify models that you've seen, Frank, come and go?
Well, primarily I was going to show this app with working with dropshipping and
okay, great.
AliExpress. Yeah.
Frank's going to get in there, talk a little bit about AliExpress, talk about this app, and then after that we'll get into some questions. And Smack already covered ASD, so we might cut this a little bit short and see what happens. We'll just play it by ear and see what else we have to come up with. Again, I apologize, guys. I caught this cold. Did not expect it. I've actually been fighting this cold for already like a week and a half, like trying to just not catch it, but it looks like it finally caught me. Luckily, I'm home, but unfortunately, I'm having to move everything out of this room, including my mattresses. So I'm going to be sleeping on the couch with a cold, which is not a lot of fun. But with that being said, let's turn it over to Frank. And Frank, you need to get a presenter here.
Yeah.
I can give that to you here.
Do I have to select it?
I'm actually looking for. Oh, you're in staff. Let me switch over to you.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm making you presenter, Frank. Take it away.
Okay. Okay. All right. There's not too many times I find another exciting app. Usually with Shopify and e-commerce, okay, well, here's another app to solve another problem, fraud prevention or something like that just makes a couple things better. But this is one that I just found out about last week, and I just found out about it like last Thursday or Friday, and then I just spent some time with it last night. So I haven't spent a whole lot of time on it, but I just found it to be. Let me see if I can move this away here. There we go. But what I found, it's called Shopified, and what it does is it allows you to go into AliExpress and import items into your store, and then it can almost completely automate the fulfillment of them as well. And let's see, what I want to first do is just show you. We're just going to go to just want to show you here, like I've had this one collection sitting on the homepage of my test site right here, and we got 3 items in here. So the first thing I want to do is, let me clear my throat for a second here. We're going to add a few items in here. So these are more camping, outdoor types of products. So I'm going to go in here and we'll find some more stuff to add. So I'll show you how the whole thing works. And then we'll go through and fulfill an order. And then I'll show you about adding a variation as well, because the variations can really take some time to add in there. So let's just pick out a couple things in here, some camping stuff. Let's just pick a couple examples here, like this lamp. Let's just pick this. I think I want to make sure I want to make sure I've got a one-piece only item. And let's pick this, and we'll pick some things that are maybe a little bit more expensive not the super cheap stuff. We'll grab a couple things in here and add them in. So here's a rechargeable tent lamp. So let me go right back here. So when I'm normally looking around for things to add to my cart, let's just say, oh, okay, this is nice. I'll just open up it in another tab. And then let's grab this one. has I hate it when they have that in the image, but I'm just going to add it anyway because I'll just show you how it works. And here's another one. And let's grab one or two more. And let's see what else we have here. And we'll just do this. I'm not sure, but I hope that has a battery in it because, if you have light outside, you don't really need a lamp. But, okay, I'll add this one in there too. And then I'll go in here and see if I want to add this one into my store. This actually has variations in it too, so I can just click here and do a quick edit on it. Let me just collapse that again. So that's $9.99. So I'll make that make that, if it's going to let me, okay, save for later. And then I'll just close that. And then I'll grab this one and do a save for later. And then we'll close that. And I'll do this one. We'll do a save this for later. And then what I'll do is go into the app and find, let's see, we'll just go, we do view in Shopify app. And so we have it in here, and I'll just change the price to 19.95. And we could put things in here. So these are all outdoors. I have my outdoor tag on these. And the descriptions, of course, we always need to change those. So I'll just quickly change these. Ultra bright rechargeable camping lantern. Okay. We'll save that. And then there's all sorts of stuff in here, and we don't need all this. And I'll remove this. And it will always need to go back and make some changes. There's not too much of a description here. I'm going to select which images I want. I'll take this one out. I'll take that one out. I usually like to have just 3, and I'll take that one. And then I'll keep it there, and then I'll send to Shopify. So if we go back to, if everything worked out, it should show up right there. So now the lamp is there, that easily, and there it is. And people can start buying it right now. So if we go in here, we also have the product info, or let's see, go to the connections. So in order to make this something we can, to link that product with the source, we're going to go back in here and find this product. I'll go back in here and find the products. And we'll find our item right here. That should show up. Where's my lantern? There it is. And we grab this URL right here and put it in here. We save it. And now we're going to, here's the big test. Let's see if I order this in the site, if it will do the fulfillment correctly. So let's find my site again here. There we go. So we've got the product here. I'm going to buy it. I've got my store set up in test mode, so we can check out. And let's make sure I'm still logged into AliExpress. Yep. So I'll put in my information. And it should, Okay. Frankini, let's see. And we continue the shipping method. And so we're all set. We're going to go continue and put in the test card. And make sure that works. Oh, okay, got the wrong year. And let's make sure that all goes through. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the Shopify app and in here, and let me get back to the right place. Go to orders. We'll go to the last page in here. This is still in beta. It's not perfect. It's actually, this is going to be released March 21st, but I'll post the link inside here so you can get the announcement. So here's our order right here, showing up in the Shopify app. So since we've linked these products together, I should be able to just, now I'm going to do a step-by-step. I should be able to just click this, and it should, oh, why is it telling me that? Okay, I didn't check that in advance. I'll just show you a different item. So go back into orders.
USA, Frank.
Yeah, I know. I just saw that. Let me pick a different item. I'll just show you how easy that is. I picked the. So here's another item I just added in just before this, and if I click on this flashlight, this should work because I tested this. And it's this is fulfilled from United States. It's somehow getting caught up on a message in here. I don't know. I cleared my cookies and this still says this, but it should just. Yeah. Let's see here. That's not good. Let's see if this is giving me this message.
So obviously this is something that's still in beta.
Yeah,
so they're still going to be
still in beta. So it's still telling me it can't deliver. No, this is something happening on AliExpress. But I just tested this before the call. That is weird. But what it'll do is it'll basically fill the whole format, and it'll fill out the whole shipping address, the phone number, everything.
Yeah, so this is exciting actually. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a while. So go ahead and continue, Frank, and I'll tell you some of my thoughts here in a minute.
Okay. So yeah, I'm getting this message. Before I came on the call, I cleared my cookies and this went away, but it's still giving me this error message. I don't know if it'll even let me do it from here, but it'll let me buy it. If I click buy now, it'll let me do it. So there's something in here that's preventing it from happening. Yeah, it's still saying that message. So what were you going to say about this?
I was just going to say, this can be used in a lot of different ways. One of the ways that it can actually be used, I know I have a particular site that I sell a private label product from, and I don't really even run any traffic to it, and I sell products from it every day. And one of the things that I have is I've got 7 products on that particular site, but I could also add complementary products on
Mm-hmm.
and make them seem like they're complementary. I can obviously make them seem like they're part of my brand and put those so that if I can get additional sales, that can actually be sent. So you can do a lot of different things with this model. It doesn't necessarily just have to be sending your own traffic, but you could set up the free plus shipping model like this as well. I know a lot of people that are actually doing those stores and sending a lot of Facebook traffic to those. So you could just load up some stores and do them like this. And again, complementary products to your actual primary product can really go a long way in making some additional sales. Because again, usually my sales are not singles. I usually sell multiple items on that particular store, and I only have products in stock in that store. But this would allow me to maybe have 20 some products or 30 some products that are all related to my particular niche. So again, you just have to think outside the box and then add it on there and just go for it. Like, get off your couch, get off your ass. Doesn't matter how you feel. Doesn't matter how your day's going. Just get out there and do something. So any ideas from you, Frank, as to how people can use it?
Well, what it is I mean, this type of thing, like you said, you have complementary products, because if you have also with the dynamic product retargeting that's available in Facebook, if you're advertising one item, now you have this retargeting that's showing some other items in your product set that will drive other sales. And with this I'll have to find out why it's still giving me this message right here, but it is. And but like in these, I just added these this afternoon. I mean, this one right here, it has so many variations on it. I think it has like 6 variations on it. And if you were to add these types of products in here from manually, it would, let's see here. It would take you so long to do it. And with with this app, it'll actually add the variations in there as well. So let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, here we go. So like this has got 2 variations, and all it took was a couple clicks, and all this was set up. Otherwise, you'd be manually copying and pasting, extracting the images, because if you go inside of AliExpress and you look at the images, I mean, the only way to grab these without looking into the website code is by taking screenshots and then saving those images. So just I can't just right mouse click on these and save them. So this tool extracts them from the website completely, and it's a huge time saver where I can go and browse a bunch of items, and then you can create these boards. So when I'm looking for outdoor products, I'll browse a whole bunch of them and then bring a whole bunch of them in here, kind of as an in-between. It's like they set it up a little bit like Pinterest. They're pin boards. So I can go and browse, like when I'm doing my product research, I'll just go look at outdoor equipment, and I'll just say, oh, save for later, save for later, save for later, save for later. Then I go in here, and then you can do bulk edits on products. So we can easily change all these things before we send it over to the store, and then we can easily put things inside of boards when we're doing our research, and then we can add them back into our site once we're comfortable with the way that they're set up, and then so we can just it just makes it so much easier to do the research. Because for me, I mean, in the past, I'd be researching products, and I would have all these tabs open, and then I would go and copy them either into a spreadsheet or a notepad. But now this gives me the ability to organize them into these different boards, whether it's jewelry or outdoor, and this supports multiple stores. So if you've got 3, 4, or 5 Shopify stores, you got a hot product on one of your stores, and you want to move it to another store. I mean, it's super easy now. You don't have to, do an export and an import. You can just do it right through this app. And they'll even they're building in an alert system. So, for example, if you picked an item on AliExpress and the price, these prices change. And so before this gets released, this is one of the things they're going to do. So if this price changes, they'll notify you in the notifications inside here. So you're not going to get surprised. And so if I go into this item where we have the connection, So if you find out that, I mean, you've all of us that have been using AliExpress, or you can go in here and, you'll see a dozen people selling the same thing. Well, if you decide that, particular person you were getting it from was not all that great, well, all you have to do is now get the new link and paste it in here. And now when they're fulfilled, they'll go to through the other seller. So it's easy you're not locked into one particular seller. Now you can have them fulfill if one price changes, or it works better with somebody else, just move it to somebody else. And it's a terrific app. And it's coming out on March 21st. But I mean, this is like in my coaching group. One of my clients has been one of the early beta testers on this. And I mean, when he first started setting up his Shopify store, I was amazed at how quickly. I looked at his site and I thought, well, he spent so much time getting all this stuff in here. But he's been using this for a long time. He's been giving them lots of feedback about some of the features in here. So it's definitely designed for people that are, new to this type of selling. And he's doing a bunch of both free plus shipping and full price items. And he's now, at this point, he's just doing he's using the fulfillment process within here to do it. And he says at this point he can do it so quickly. He's put off the idea of hiring a VA to do it, but he knows. I mean, he's getting to the point where he'll do that anyway. Now, when you're importing a product, it doesn't solve everything, because I mean, I like to do a lot of changes to the description. So, like even this one that I imported just before the call, I mean, this is all, I just copied this directly from the Shopify description. It's actually quite good, where most of them sometimes aren't that good at all. Like this one doesn't even have hardly has even a description at all. So I mean, I typically like to do quite a bit of changes, like on these watches. I'll put just some good marketing, text to get their attention, and then I always, if it's being fulfilled from AliExpress, I always put in it's going to take, that it's going to take some time, because I don't want any surprises. I always fully disclose that this item could take a long time, and then like in here, most of the time the descriptions will come, and they're only in metric. Where people in the United States expect it to be in inches. So all this has to be cleaned up. I almost never end up using. So this is the kind of thing where now, I'm having my assistants are spending more time, like filling in like the top, the header and the footer that I want in here, and then doing the changes to the metric, from metric to the English, and then typically, and I always review them in the end anyway. But some of the stuff, if I add 20 or 30 items in here, and then they all need the conversion, I'm not going to sit there and do one by one. But this certainly shortens the time down. Now I can have my assistants put in more and more quickly. So, are there any questions that have come up in the chat? I haven't been watching that at all.
Well, let's take a look here. Smack, anything from you?
Well, I haven't used the app. I just use, and I don't do the free plus shipping Shopify model. I just use my Shopify store as another channel for my products. But this definitely looks interesting.
Yeah.
Looks like it can simplify creating a listing, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. What I found with so much people trying to start up Shopify, and when they're getting started, is often the free plus shipping model is just such an easy way to get started on it. And then, something like this can really save some time, because, putting in I'm going to put this URL, if you want to get notified when this app comes out, you can just put your email address in there, and they'll let you know. It's coming out, they've set the date of the 21st of this month for this app to come out.
Let me take a look and see if we have any questions, Frank. Here's a quick question. Somebody just asking, Frank, if you'd just kind of give some tidbits on some of the basic marketing techniques that you use. Is it primarily SEO or paid advertising?
Well, most of the SEO I do, set up, automated like RSS feeds to different properties from my e-commerce stores, and that is especially for some of my older stores, that really, really works well. But for paid marketing, most of what I do right now is Facebook ads, and so finding a good group of people, like some sort of passionate interest or an interest where there's lots of people that are very much involved, and then starting with an interest first, and then getting a product to fill that interest has always worked better for me. That's the way I started my first store in 2001. Is I found the need first, and then filled it with products that I found that people wanted. But that's the way I approach paid advertising as well.
Okay, so let's see if we got any more questions here, Frank. I'm sorry if I coughed into the mic. What if the company that makes the product doesn't do drop shipping? I'm guessing you'd find another one, right, Frank?
Well, typically you go in here and just in AliExpress, I'm searching for if I just did a quick look for a bracelet, if I can spell, and then I just put in here free shipping, one piece only, and those are the people that will ship one piece. I mean, if you have any question, of course that's a counterfeit item, but if you want to find out if they'll sell, you can always contact the seller. But I've had no problem doing drop shipping on AliExpress.
That's really the model that AliExpress was built upon, was to drop ship. That's why they're slightly higher than Alibaba. Alibaba, you're going to need to take hundreds, in some cases thousands of pieces, whereas AliExpress has always been a model where you can just take a piece here and a piece there. I think Now that they realize that there's a lot of people that are actually utilizing this model and sending a lot of traffic, selling a lot of product, you're going to see more and more people that make it available. And it's kind of like the same as Amazon. The prices are going to drop. I mean, a year ago, this particular bracelet, the Infinity Love Leather Love Owl, would not have been 68 cents a piece. It would have been a lot higher than 68 cents. But now that the demand for it is growing, you're going to see the price drop a lot. And I mean, that's just kind of part of the product life cycle, which is one of the things that I'll be speaking about at the next couple events that I'm at. And that is a product life cycle. It's actually something that John and I will be talking about at the Mike Collins event here coming up in February. And then again, we'll be elaborating on it in Cabo and really telling people how they have to, there's a couple different ways that they can run their business so that they can differentiate themselves from everybody, and a couple models that they have that they can choose from to actually going forward, moving into the new Amazon that we're starting to see more and more as time goes on. So definitely something that's super interesting. And let's see if we have any other ones. Frank, can you connect your store to Pinterest? Is that possible?
That's not something. I'm on the waiting list to get an ads account, so I haven't done anything with Pinterest yet.
Okay.
I'm sure there's for Shopify, there's probably an app for everything.
Okay. Here's another question. What about the number of days it takes to deliver for free from China? Is this not an issue?
Well, that's why when I actually state in here, I clearly spell it out that your item will be shipped from our warehouse. Due to the popularity of this item, please allow 7 to 35 business days. I mean, this is a free plus shipping item, and I've had no complaints at all. But I have to, in the email, the confirmation email, it states this again. And typically these arrive, many of these places will say, they'll say, depending on the shipping method, it might be, they might say 45 days. But if you've got a good, if you're getting it from someone I always look at the feedback on the product and on the seller. I usually look for people where there's feedback in here, and I want to see comments in here. Okay, if there's a whole bunch, well, now this is all in Cyrillic, but I want to find something in English. And if there's a bunch of comments in here that it arrives slow, then I might look for someone else to get it from. And then I'm looking for comments in here that say, oh, it arrived quickly. So, I mean, since in these, so it's usually people are getting it, around the 2-week time frame. Some of them will be faster, some will be slower. But if I find that, since usually there's multiple people selling the same thing, I'll actually use, to fulfill an item, I'll use separate suppliers, and that basically I'm split testing the suppliers to see who works the best. And I'll do that with Alibaba as well if I buy something in a larger quantity. If I want to buy, a couple thousand or 1,000 of something, I'll buy half of it from one, half of it from another, and see which one works better.
Right, which is a great point, Frank. You guys should be split testing suppliers because some are going to be far better than others, even the quality of the product itself. And as Matt touched on earlier, she really didn't go deep into detail. Your actual goal is to develop a relationship with suppliers. When you do that, you get a lot of amazing benefits when you actually do that. For starters, you'll get products that they don't even have listed. A lot of these suppliers, I know me personally, having gone into so many different factories, I'll go into some jewelry factories, and these guys have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of products. And the only way that you really get to see them is by going into the factory and developing relationships with the actual supplier. Once you develop that relationship, their goal is to sell you as much stuff as they possibly can because it's going to be a lot more profitable for them in the long run because they know you're a dependable seller. They know you're a dependable retailer that wants to work with them, and they look at that very positively. So they're also looking to develop relationships with you. And so that's something that Smack briefly touched upon, but she didn't go into deep detail. But it's a very important, like John Gill talks a lot about it, Smack talks a lot about it, and it certainly works. Even on a place like AliExpress, there's actually an OMGer that one of her very first, the very first person she ever contacted to private label her product was somebody on AliExpress. And it's kind of a crazy story. It's one of those stories where it doesn't happen a lot, but she used that vendor on AliExpress and she started to use them for quite a bit of orders. And at some point, they offered to extend her a line of credit, and they were actually a trader. So they extended her a line of credit, and I believe at some point the line of credit she had with them was almost $500,000. And they basically gave her that line of credit because of the fact that she was actually their first account ever, their first purchaser ever. So they felt that she was growing. They wanted to grow with her. They offered her terms. She took it. And to this day, they remain to be her primary supplier for that particular product. So I'm not saying that's going to happen to you. What I'm saying is that relationships, just like they are in business, just like they are here when we're sharing tactics and strategies and all that stuff, they're just as important on the supplier side. So Smack, anything you want to add about that? I know you're very adamant about that.
It's again, relationships. It's all about, business. It's all about relationships. As I said, I haven't used AliExpress, so I can't talk about how the supplier relationship works with AliExpress. So I can't, but I can say that relationships are really important. For example, for a couple of the people that I'm here with at ASD, one of the things we made sure we did is if we found a product and a supplier we liked, we touched base with them each day. So it's not just get the catalog, look at the product. It's go back with more questions, go back with more things. Then it's almost like you're in China. They take the pictures with you. So that by the time that they leave and you leave, you have a good foundation with them. So it's all about, just like business. It's who you work with. It's who you know. It's all about relationships. It's just people.
Yeah, my first supplier in 2001, I still use him, and my second biggest supplier I started in like 2003, and between those two, without those relationships, that's millions of dollars a year between just the two that I started off with, in 15 years ago and 13 years ago. I still work with them to this day. And that's really how I've grown, is working through them, and with what they've supplied to me, I've been able to scale based on our relationship, and that wouldn't have happened without that relationship. And it's all in the relationship when you're getting into a much more long-term business.
Okay, so a couple more questions, Frank. What theme are you using on your Shopify site?
This is called Impulsify, I believe. It's from this place, Certified Gift. It's impulsive. It's impulsive theme. It's this one right here.
Smack is.
What a great marketing name for it. Great marketing.
Yep. Exactly.
So that's it.
I can even giggle and want to impulsively buy it, even though I'm running a fever over here.
So
okay.
yeah, we actually tested this and found just switching from like a regular theme with having some of these elements that it improved conversions by 2 to 4%.
Amazing. It's actually a very nice theme. I don't think I've seen a nicer one in a long time. It's very impulsive. So to say.
And you can see I changed the button as well. I don't like having buy now or add to cart. I like having something like this. I want this, I deserve this, or something like that.
I think that's especially important when you know your demographic, Frank. Like women, that button, I want this, like totally a woman. I want it now. So, okay, let's go to the next question here. Frank, so are you building sites of products that are not yours? How do you know if the products are any good? Sorry, I'm confused as to what you're doing here. Thanks.
Well, that's again where I look at the feedback. I want to see, before I buy something, I'm looking, if I'm doing something from AliExpress, then I'll look at the feedback. Now, hopefully I find enough in English that I can get a good idea. But, often like this, where the photography is very good, you can see what it looks like. And I go on the feedback and see how that works. And there are times, if something starts working, I'll order some just so I can see what it looks like.
Awesome. Okay. Frank, another one, I think I know the answer. This is Frank, when it's shipped, will there be pricing information to the customer from AliExpress? I think the answer is no. You're the one that orders it from AliExpress. You're fulfilling it to the customer. Is that right, Frank?
Well, this is going directly to the customer. And inside, I've yet to see have an invoice show up in anything. But you can put a note in there too, and I always say no invoice. Okay. And inside the Shopify app setup, you can also, there's a place where you can have that note pre-filled, so it'll show up when the order's being processed on AliExpress. Okay. And I just say, drop ship order, no invoice.
Awesome. Next question: do you use multiple suppliers?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. That's pretty simple. When you're on AliExpress, is it the app that shows the prices in ePacket or something else?
I'm sorry. Shows. Okay. Well, when you're looking through here, you can see which ones are ePacket or not.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I thought I was just talking to myself.
No, I'm not sure about the question about ePacket, but you'll see in here in AliExpress which ones are ePacket and which are not, if that's the question. Oh, can anybody hear me?
Yes, I can. Well, I can hear you.
Okay. Did we lose Liz?
Liz, are you there?
Did we lose her?
I'm back.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that's what happens when you horse around with the microphone long enough.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Question is, can you sell private label products on Shopify? The answer is yes. Here's another one. Hi, I'm curious to know the app that Frank used to show if AliExpress vendors does e-packets or not.
Well, it just shows up. It shows up in the search. There's no special app to do that.
Awesome. Okay. Is this a retail or free plus shipping model, Frank?
Well, the easy to get started in a new niche is, from what I found, is to do a free plus shipping, like something like this, and then I'll have an upsell for another product. So like if I added this to the cart and then I click checkout, it should pop up with a full price item.
Okay.
And so we'll get, a certain percentage will buy the upsell.
Awesome. Okay. Next question. So if we create a Shopify store around our private label product and add AliExpress products, if a customer purchases both our Amazon product and an AliExpress product, how would you indicate that one of the products will take 15 to 30 days and the Amazon product will take 2 to 7? Do you think this may cause a problem?
Well, that's where you have to you have to be clearly set the customer's expectations. So on this product, it clearly states that it's going to be this time frame. On your other product, you would need to state something different on that, and you might even want to have that highlighted that this it arrives in 2 business days. So and then this one states that it's going to be this time frame, and then in the order confirmation, the email that goes out, that needs to be listed there. That some products will arrive, they'll ship separately. Some will arrive earlier, and you will get email. People will, you're always going to get emails and questions and phone calls, and then however you're handling your customer service, you just need to have that script for the people that are answering your phones or the email template that when they reply back that certain items they'll arrive separately, some will arrive sooner, and one item is going to arrive in a couple of days and the other will arrive later. And I've rarely had a problem with that as long as there's full disclosure on the item itself.
Awesome. Okay. Frank, how does Facebook reactions change the Facebook ad game?
I haven't seen I don't have the reactions yet in my account. I haven't seen them.
Okay, so that's still yet to be known.
It's not fully rolled out, so we don't know.
Yeah, a lot of times the unknown scares people, but you got to just keep on trucking until you find out what's going on. It's the same thing with the Amazon review game. You don't know what's going to happen. You got to keep doing what you're doing.
I'm not sure how the reactions are going to change the advertising.
Yeah, well,
because like as the first one, it's just if anything, it'll increase engagement so that you'll get more organic reach.
Yep, Smack just said a mouthful. Frank, what's your number one method of finding interest groups?
Well, one of the ways so for example, if I wanted to, I'm here on Tuesday night thinking, what new niche am I going to go into? Well, I might pick one of the, at least for me, one of the easiest things to do is to look for something like that's jewelry related. So like you saw that Dreamcatcher watch, like I found stuff like this where I just went into AliExpress and I typed in watch. And yeah. And I just looked in here, okay, I'm going to look at watches. So I'll click on free shipping and one piece only. And then just for fun, I'll pick the ones that are selling the best. Well, what I find what works best in Facebook ads is targeting a specific niche, something people are interested in. So if we look at like a watch like this, I mean, this is not related to any particular interest. So I'll just, now of course this is going to be counterfeit, so I can't do Fast and Furious. But, I'll look this is the way I found the Dreamcatcher watch. I just browse through here, and there's, and I just look in here until I find something that's related to some sort of an interest. So, of course, I can't do Mickey Mouse because this is also going to be counterfeit. And I'll just spend time in here browsing things. And of course, I stay away from things that are licensed because I don't want to get in trouble. Things that are that appear to be licensed and they are in AliExpress. That is, there are sites that sell that you can resell licensed products. But I just found the Dreamcatcher just in here. I just browsed around until I found something. Oh, there's got to be something that a group of people that would be interested in something like this. And then, here's something with a cat on it. And then, And look at this is what cracked me up when I saw this. This is a watch with a lighter built into it, so you can light your cigarette.
That's if you really can't get away from cigarettes.
That's right. So you got that hidden, and you don't want to carry matches around or a lighter. And look, it's rechargeable through USB. So I would browse through product categories, and then there's so much in here. If you want to find something that you can just go from the start and look in some of these product categories and find things. So, if there's outdoors, there's golf, there's stuff in golf, hunting. There's people passionate about all these different types of things. And then it's all about finding the correct interest to target inside of Facebook.
Right. Next question, how much is the app?
I don't know what the pricing is at this point. I know they're going to have different pricing levels depending on what you're going to be doing. So I'll let them announce that when that comes out.
Awesome. So you fully disclose that these are shipping from AliExpress. No, Bevan, you don't. You disclose that they're shipping from your warehouse in 7 to 35 days.
Yes.
Also, what about the return address being from China? You didn't say where your warehouse is. Everybody knows most stuff is made in China, so it's not going to be a surprise when it's shipped from China.
No.
What happens if the product is damaged? How to return it? That's just a question. It's kind of like you guys are overthinking things. The chance that a product is broken is going to be pretty slim to none. It's just like on Amazon. What happens when you order a container of 1,000 products and you can't be afraid that one of them is broken? So
right.
That's kind of going to happen.
And that's the thing that comes up with people that are new to e-commerce that I work with in my coaching group is it's like they get really worried about the customer service part of it. And you know what? Any type of business you do, you're going to have some people that you're going to have to respond to. So that's just a given in e-commerce. Stuff is going to get lost. Stuff is going to get broken. You're going to have people that are never happy with anything, and you just deal with it. That's just part of the business. So for me, when you get to your business is big, it's big enough that you can have a bunch of assistants in the Philippines or whatever, and you train them. Well, if you don't like that part of the business, you get somebody else to do it. And that's the way I am. I don't like to do the customer. I don't do customer service. I don't answer the phones. I have a bunch of people in the Philippines that do that for me.
Yeah. Next question. The I Love You to the Moon and Back necklace Frank showed is a product I used to sell until the copyright owner's lawyer shut us down. How do we do background searches on products we find on AliExpress?
Well, so far I haven't had any problems with the items that I sell. I don't know the answer to that. You'd have to do a trademark search if you know how to do that. That's not something, I've done some of that, but you just have to do your due diligence if you're worried that you may be doing something that may infringe it with a trademark. Right.
Check the USTPO site. I think there's a module in actual training about copyrights, trademarks, and stuff like that. Shows you where to search.
The USPTO site has a great tutorial. It's a long video about how to do the search yourself and how to use it. I had put the link in the OMG Amazon group a while ago.
Oh, fantastic tip from Smack.
Unfortunately, I've known people that are out there that they say, they're going to risk it, but that's just, you don't want to go down that way. You want to make sure that it's not infringing. When I was browsing through here, I pointed out that certain things that were definitely counterfeit, there were obviously that. You want to stay away from those.
Right. Okay. As a question, do you send a spreadsheet list daily to the vendor of address of buyers to send to, or will the app just automatically notify the vendor for you? I believe it does that when you hit the button, Susan. Is that right, Frank?
Well, this app can automatically place the order on AliExpress, but at some point you want to have a relationship, work with a couple different people that are there, a couple different suppliers, and develop. That's a relationship you want to develop where you can, send them a spreadsheet and then have them fulfill it for you. Because your fulfillment, if you're looking, you're starting off, the easiest things to start selling from the beginning are typically low price items. So for someone that's getting started with an e-commerce store, I mean, the main thing, okay, you built the store, you want to sell product, well, you've got to get traffic there somehow, and you want to get that traffic to convert into sales. And the easiest thing is to find something that people are passionate about, and then typically the low price items are the easiest way to get started in that and then move up into something else. But with that, you definitely want to develop a relationship with someone, and when it is much less expensive, if you look at the pricing of some of these things, especially the low-cost items, it's less expensive to have when you're starting off and you're trying to get traffic, it's less expensive to have it fulfilled in China than it is to have yourself or someone else do it here in the United States.
Right. Okay. So here's another question. Can you work with other drop shippers other than AliExpress? Yes, you can, but this particular app works with AliExpress. Is there any other vendors it works with other than AliExpress, Frank?
I saw some features in there to do eBay and Amazon.
Oh, awesome. So that's coming soon, it looks like, where it does work.
Yeah.
Got to check that out. When a customer buys multiple things, how do you handle shipping costs?
Well, I price, on my consumer, the stuff that I sell through Facebook ads, I just price everything as it's either free shipping or free plus shipping.
Okay.
And that's it.
So obviously you'd have to figure that out if you have multiple items and come up with something. But I believe Shopify lets you adjust based on the product or which product you can charge whatever you want.
Yes.
Shipping model built in there in the back end.
Right. I have some sites where I don't put traffic from Facebook. And so I have a store where during checkout, they can pick, next day air, 2-day, 3-day, or if they're ordering from Canada, they can pick express. You can do those kinds of things. All those options are available.
Awesome. Okay, next question. What's a test credit card? It's a credit card that Shopify gives you so you could test out the cart and make sure everything is working smoothly. Another one for you, Frank. Which app do you use for the upsell?
This is the Bold Upsell, is the one I showed in here.
A lot of good things Frank's dropping tonight, guys. If you definitely want to get into Shopify, he's showing a lot of nice stuff. So you definitely want to be taking notes and paying attention. Unfortunately, I cannot. I'm running a fever here, but I'm definitely still listening, and I will watch this on the replay. Frank, next one. Is there a training on the free plus shipping model? Not inside of OMG. Frank does have private coaching that teaches that. There's a lot of other courses out there that do offer that. If you haven't started out with Shopify, just get in there with some Amazon scanning, retail arbitrage. Get in there, get into some e-commerce until you can go up and get a Shopify product, get Frank's coaching from Frank, get a system, something that works out. There's a lot of different things that you can actually do. But Frank will saying here that he's going to do an OMG free training at some point. So that's freaking super exciting. I'm guessing what he's putting there just because I know Frank is a good guy. I'm psyched.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm offering to do it if people want it.
We haven't been on the Facebook group. I'm beginning to not even talk correctly, but I do know how to say, let's put a hashtag out there for Frank. Let's put a hashtag Frank. We're still going to be answering questions, but I didn't see a lot of hashtags the last time, and I want to get some hashtags for Frank to show our appreciation. Who is excited about the fact that he's going to do this free plus shipping training for OMG? He's going to make it available in OMG. This is a guy that has a ton of experience with this. He's bought several courses. He and I have discussed courses. He and I have strategized over courses. So you haven't already given Frank your appreciation. He comes on here once a month out of the goodness of his heart just to spend an evening with us. I know it sounds like a lot of fun, but let's face it. We all got other places that we'd rather be, but especially Frank. Let's give him a hashtag Frank for giving him a thank you for being on this webinar tonight, answering our questions. I don't see enough hashtags in here, so I want to see hashtag Frank if you guys are pumped about the fact that he's on here donating his time, his knowledge to make us better overall e-commerce sellers. It's pretty epic. I don't see any coming on. Let me just refresh my screen. Maybe it's just on the thing.
Oh, there are lots of them there, Liz. Lots of them.
Okay, great. I thought it was just the fact that I've got a fever and I can't read very well at this point. So hopefully I don't start hallucinating at some point. but I'm sorry. My mom's in the background cracking up at me. For those of you guys that say I'm not funny, my mom just laughed out loud, so obviously I am pretty darn funny, according to her at least.
You're very funny, Liz. You're very funny.
Thank you. Now she's starting to tell a story from my childhood, so that's where we'll cut it off and turn the mic off from her, not allow her to say any stories from my childhood, or else she will start pulling out pictures. I don't think you guys want to see the feathered fro I had in the 4th grade. So, okay. What app does the checkout upsell? Is that what you just answered, Frank?
It's called Bold Upsell.
Bold upsell. Okay, great.
There's so many apps for Shopify. If you think you want to do something, just do a search in the Shopify apps. There's something there.
Okay. What source do you use for customer service?
I hire and train my own assistants in the Philippines. I use a website called onlinejobs.ph, and I hire my own people and train my own people.
Okay, fantastic. I use that site too. It's a great site. Make sure you give them a small test before you hire them. And again,
yes. I always hire twice as many people as I need.
Yeah. You're going to get some bad ones. I've had some terrible ones where they turn in their testing and it's a fantastic article written as a press release, and then you get their actual real article. And I don't even know if a kindergartner wrote it or what. It's just like, whoa. Right. Okay, which vendor rating is higher? Diamond, Crown, etc.
I'm sorry.
AliExpress.
The diamonds are the vendor rating, and you know what? Off the top of my head, I don't know. I'm always focused on the feedback down here. Okay. That's what I look for. I look at the feedback because this is going to tell me something about that product and the time it took for them to get it.
I'm pretty sure if you click on that diamond, there's probably some info about that. There's some info somewhere on there about what's better. So I'll just click on that.
But I find definitely the product feedback, because you're going to hear about the product and how long it took. If they say it's a bad item, that's really, for me, this is the most critical part right here, is I look for the product feedback.
Okay, awesome. So is Frank selling items, then purchasing off of Ali and getting all the products sent to him before sending them to his clients, or just plain drop shipping? He's drop shipping with the vendor, Michael. He's never touching the product. Can you set tax-free for wholesale vendors by the account group in Shopify? Looking at FAQs and not finding info.
Okay, well, that's a reseller model. So you would, I use BigCommerce for items that I wholesale, and that has it all built in. I don't know if Shopify has something like that.
Yeah, I don't think
anything I do in Shopify is just all consumer. And in my BigCommerce stores where I have wholesale and for resellers where I can set them up so they don't get charged sales tax.
Right, awesome. How do you know if a product is licensed on AliExpress? You don't, Helen. That's why you have to do your research on USTPO. But pretty much it's almost like a standard guess, like just a common sense guess. Like Hello Kitty obviously is never going to be licensed in China. Star Wars, anything like that is never going to be licensed in China. So you cannot purchase that stuff from China unless you have a licensing agreement with the actual creator here in the United States. What happens if someone decides to return? Does Shopify handle returns?
Well, you're the one handling the returns. So if you want to accept a return, I mean, if it's an inexpensive item, like a free plus shipping item, I usually just, if they're really unhappy with it, I'll just refund it. It's not worth the trouble.
Okay,
good. But if it's something else, I may say, okay, here's the address, ship it back. When I get it back, I'll refund the money, and we just leave it at that.
Awesome. Next question. So if you find a cheap product on here and put it on your Shopify store and offer for a higher markup, the customer pays you and you pay AliExpress for the low price. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. Well, that's the nice thing. One thing with getting started in Shopify for doing your e-commerce is that you get paid. The money shows up in your bank account in like 2 days. So and you can use that money to buy the product. And then I also recommend when you set up your store to put, you're going to do, at some point you're going to be doing some returns or something like that. And then you probably want to get it like a UPS store address. And then, so that way the stuff doesn't come back to your house. And then before I had virtual assistants when I got to the point where early on, when I didn't want to answer the phone anymore, and it was before I could really, really even knew about virtual assistants, I actually used what do you call it, an answering service. And I found several of them I could give them several scripts and they would answer things. So that way, when people would call, they would get a real person to answer. And that really helped out when I was in the very early days, and I was packing boxes in my garage, and I didn't have time to answer the phone, but they could answer all the basic questions, and then, for those that they couldn't, then they would just email me the message, and I could call them back when I had time.
Awesome. I have a client that sells fine jewelry on a private website. She was denied by Amazon to sell her jewelry. Is there something she can do to have better success with Amazon or use another site for fulfillment? Amazon is very picky about fine jewelry. I know they don't approve many people, so it would just depend on what she put on her application. I can't answer that without seeing that. But again, they're super finicky about who sells fine jewelry on their site. Can she use another site for fulfillment? I don't really know who else she could use for fulfillment, to be quite honest with you. I only have used Amazon. I've used eBay in the past, but they don't fulfill. You just sell it on there. So I don't know if Frank or Smack knows anything about that.
Well, I mean, there's lots of fulfillment centers that will do your fulfillment for you. I use a place here in Southern California that, my things that are not at FBA but come from my website are fulfilled from this warehouse. And I went through when I stopped packing boxes in my garage, I moved my inventory to a fulfillment house, and there's lots of them of all different sizes that I found out, and some aren't so great, and some are fantastic. And you just you want to, if they're doing if they're looking for someone to actually fulfill jewelry, I suppose there's places that will do that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, there are several OMGers who run fulfillment operations. So if you're looking for one, just post in the Facebook group, and I'm sure you'll get recommendations for who people use.
Awesome.
Right. And I want to say one thing. This is not something that people bring up a whole lot, but make sure you comply with your state sales tax when you're selling out of your Shopify. You don't want to get that phone call 2 years down the road that they are going to come in and they want you to pay for all the sales tax you didn't pay. Just make sure you're complying with your state and local sales tax.
Okay. Is there a cost for the AliExpress app?
Yes, the Shopify app. Yes, there is, and you just get on. I posted the link in the chat, and I know they're going to have different pricing. They're going to have tiered pricing at the time they announce it and launch it on the 21st. So you'll just find out there. They've got different prices for different types of use.
Okay, next question. Will vendors give you terms, or do you pay for these items with a credit card as they are ordered? Bevan, you pay for them as they're ordered. The only way you get terms is, as Smack talked about earlier, you have to create relationships. You have to start ordering and have a sales history with the particular vendor. If you don't, or an ordering history, if you don't do that, there's no way you're going to build a relationship there, and there's no way you'll be offered terms. So pretty much everything out of the gate is done, paid up front with a credit card. I'm not sure if Smack or Frank have seen anything different, but that's pretty much what I've seen.
Yeah, with AliExpress, you pay with the credit card.
Okay. If you were me, what's a ninja tip for asking questions on these webinars? Nothing other than ask a bunch of questions. Other ninja tip to give you, there's really no ninja tips. Ask questions that you think are even stupid. Ask those. I might ignore them, but at least you ask them, and I'll probably answer most of your questions. Most important of all, I'll probably start to recognize your name. I'll say, who is this guy asking all these stupid questions? I'm just kidding. Ask as many as you want. Ashley Jill, is that Frank's brand? No, that's the fake store he set up so that you could see what he's doing. I've been talking to other e-commerce experts who are saying the free plus shipping model is a bad idea. Any reason for this? There is no bad idea, Jeremy, as long as you could sell stuff. It really doesn't make a difference what model you use as long as you could sell it. I think people that say one way is a bad model are just people that don't know how to do it. A long time ago, I used to follow a guy that would tell me the retail arbitrage model is a bad model. If you want to ask Typhoon, people like that, is the retail arbitrage a bad model? I think they'll laugh in your face. So there really is no bad model other than the model where you sit on your couch, sit on your ass, and don't do a damn thing. Okay. App list for Shopify. Any favorites that you have there, Frank?
Well, the Bold Up has its good parts and bad parts, but it's a very effective product. But there's another one like Better Shipping, which makes it really easy to manage your free plus shipping items. And then there's a one called Min-Maxify that allows you to set limits. So like on a free plus shipping item, you'll typically have a tiered shipping, so it gets a little bit less expensive if they buy quantity. And then Min-Maxify can, so you typically it's 10 or 15. So then you can set a limit on that. What else? There's an app. Let's see here. I'll just show you what I've got in here. I don't have any secret apps in here. So Min-Maxify, Product Upsell, Ship Robot. I'm not going to recommend everything I have in here, so don't just copy everything I have here. Ship Robot, it was one that worked with ClickFunnels and Shopify at the same time, and I use that to export orders, but now there's other alternatives. Better Shipping and Abandonment Protector is nice. Notify is that one that you'd see the stuff popped up on the page. It's a little bit I kind of find it a little bit irritating, and so like if we just sit here, you'll see this pop up here, and that's Notify, and then there's a little piece of code. I don't like it. Just see, when I pay for advertising for someone to go to an item, I only want them to see this item. I don't want them to see relevant items or anything else. I just want them to give me money. So you can put a little piece of that. Nice thing about that app is it allows me, if I can get back to where it was, is I can put in, there's a little piece of code that they have that I put inside the product template that turns that off from showing up in here. So it's nice that you can customize that. And I don't know what else. I'm testing this one right now. It looks really cool. Persistent Cart, and that's about it. This is like a free upsell app, and this is something else. This is where you can do T-shirts if you want. I've sold lots of T-shirts in the past. I just haven't had time to get it into my store yet and move some of my designs in there. But there's more than this one. There's like now 3 or 4 different, on-demand print services. They'll do all sorts of different things for you. But there's a lot of options when you're selling in there. The main thing is the hardest thing is to actually get started. And especially when you're doing paid advertising, you're going to have to be very patient with yourself because it takes longer to get that up and going than you think it is.
Awesome. Next question. This is not actually a question. This is a comment about the diamonds and crowns in AliExpress. It says they get diamonds up to 5, and then it goes to crowns. Crown vendors are the highest levels. Next question. Can I sell in the U.S. if I don't have a company based in the U.S. but in Europe? Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Can you create bundles with this AliExpress Shopify fulfill method? As Frank just mentioned, he doesn't like to bundle. He wants their attention on that single actual product. So I would probably skip that for now.
Yeah, I focus on the upsell. Get them in on the first product and then upsell.
Okay, great. Yes, Bernard, your last question was answered. Here's another question. How I pay tax if I'm located in Europe, but my Shopify store sells to U.S. customers. Which tax office in the U.S. I have to notify? I think SMAC has some information about that in her.
Yes, is the accounting module up yet, Liz?
Yes, it should be.
Okay. Well, then there is some information in that module on it. We're not giving advice, though, because everybody's situation is different, so you really need to talk to your accountant. But after you determine the state or states that you have what's called nexus in, if you have nexus at all in any state, you need to contact that state and register your business to collect sales tax.
Awesome. Next question. There's from Joshua. I'm honestly struggling with the idea of attending the Simulation and 10 Pillars of Wealth in Vegas in April. I really want to meet everyone and make some great friends, and I love to party, but I'm 19 and wouldn't be able to get into bars, casinos. If OMGers went there, would it still be worth it? Joshua, I think we're going to see you in Cabo, and Mexico doesn't have a problem with you going in there and drinking, so make that decision after Cabo. I think you're going to meet plenty of nice people in Mexico. Mexico is a nice country that lets you drink at 18, so that'll be great. Okay, so I think that's all the questions for Frank. I think now we're going to bring on the hot seat. So Frank, you probably just still need to keep your screen up because he's going to need us to pull up his site. So let's get the hot seat going because we're already about almost 2 hours going in. We've answered most of the questions on here. So let's find the guy. What's his name, Spec?
Jeremy Beck.
Okay, let's pull on Jeremy Beck here. I know I've seen him asking some questions. We're going to pull him on here and he'll give us all the information we need. So Jeremy is coming on here. Jeremy, let me know when you can hear me. Awesome. We can hear you loud and clear.
Hello?
Yes, Jeremy, can hear you. Got you. How are you, Jeremy?
Doing okay.
Awesome.
Sorry, just trying to get my stuff together here.
Okay, no problem. We'll take your time. I'm going to scan through here and see if we got, let me know when you're ready to go. I'm going to see if we answered a lot of these questions. I think, Jeremy, you're probably going to have to turn off the go.
Yeah.
Talking. Okay.
Sorry about that. I had it running on both my phone and my laptop.
Oh, awesome. Okay, great. So now you got that fixed. So let's see what we got going here. As soon as you're ready, let me know, Jeremy. I'm going to take a couple questions while you're getting it all set up.
Yeah.
It says, thank you for all your webinars. I update our listings using the flat files, and we've doubled our sales on one of our products, and our listings are showing up more. I signed up to China Mastermind, so I'm even more excited. Well, we are excited too. Smack's going to be there. We will be in China. Hopefully by then I'm over this cold. I'm going to get an overdose of vitamin C here in a minute and rest up. So I'm definitely excited to meet you, Joe and Karen. Let's see. Let's see if we have anything else, Smack, that we have in there.
Oh, that's confusing. Okay, all set.
Okay, cool. We'll get you here in a minute, Jeremy. Let me just answer this last question.
No
We'll get back to questions after that. I haven't tried yet, but heard some horror stories, so I wanted to get advice before applying to beauty. I would say a lot of those stories are bullshit. People will say that kind of stuff to scare people, so I would still give it a shot. And here's somebody that's giving some advice. I got denied 3 times for grocery with an aged account, and it took me getting a state sales tax ID and finding a local wholesale grocery and getting invoices from them to finally get approved. So there you have it. Maybe do that, and you'll be able to get something that helps you get approved. So we'll be back here in the questions here in a minute. We're going to go now to Jeremy's store. So Jeremy, do you want to just give Frank the URL so that he can start looking at it? And after you give him the URL, give us a brief description of your site, what you're trying to accomplish, what's going on. Just give us a quick history.
Okay. Well, it's the site URL is immortal-raven .myshopify.com. I'll just put the link up here.
I think there's a dash in there, Frank.
Is there a dash in there?
Yes.
Okay. Immortal Raven dot.
myshopify.com.
That's right, my Shopify. Okay.
Okay.
So, do you have a domain yet for your store?
No, the store's been up for a whopping 5 days. We've been very busy. I just got my walking papers for my 9 to 5 yesterday. So kind of scary timing. So now's no time like the present to make a go of this stuff for sure. The URL is going to be switched. Like I already have hosting for an SEO business site, so we're just going to add this domain onto that host, and obviously fix the URL for it. My concern is the possibility, like, I'm not 100% on what product's appealing or if the store's laid out properly. There is a security certificate with it, but of course I can, when I set up my own URL, I can put an SSL certificate on there properly. And also I'm having a lot of issue with traffic.
Okay.
We've spent, I don't know, $35, I guess, using target traffic from Facebook.
Okay. Well, let me just say right here, you don't have the Facebook Pixel installed in your store. Were you running ads to a product?
Well, we're running ads to through the store Facebook page,
Okay.
and the Facebook page is getting a ton of traffic, about 8,000 visitors. The store
Okay.
itself is not turning anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in order to get sales, you need to drive traffic to your products, not to your page. Because getting likes on your page, these days, if you post, make a post on a page, well, maybe 10% of your audience will see it. But, and 3-4 years ago, people used to spend lots of time getting lots of likes because back then, if you'd post on your page, you might get like 70% reach. But they've really reduced that now on Facebook. So what's most effective is to find, your your niche or your people that you're going to target, and then drive that traffic to specific products.
So in this case, I mean, like the artwork that you're seeing, the raven at the top of the screen, the eagle and the raven that are on phone cases and available on T-shirts, we are using T-Launch for that. We should be driving traffic directly to those products.
Exactly.
Okay.
So now, who's your target audience?
We're targeting people, like there's a couple small market niches on Facebook and whatnot, people that like ravens and eagles and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
I know this is incredibly niche specific, the way the store's set up. Geared towards, I guess, goss would be probably my first guess. My girlfriend has had a lot of influence on this. The art, like I was pointing out, is original artwork done by my best friend's girlfriend, incredibly talented artist, and she just wants to get her name out there. And I figured, hey, I have an outlet to help her be able to accomplish that goal. And yeah, like I obviously am new to this. I'm just having a hell of a time with it, trying to figure out whether or not the apparel is appealing, the items that we do have are appealing, or are they too niche specific? Are we not targeting our traffic properly?
All right. Well, the one thing with apparel, T-shirts, and hoodies, those things that work well are those that have designs and phrases and words that resonate emotionally with your target audience. And that's where kind of the magic happens when you match that niche, those people that are passionate about something, with the apparel, that having the saying or the phrase or something on here that says something about who they are. Because people wear something like a T-shirt or a hoodie. I mean, that's like a conversation piece. When women wear jewelry, certain types of jewelry, those kinds of things, they want people to see it because that can start a conversation. So, like I'm not sure, with who you're targeting, what you would say on here that would, you want something that resonates with your audience. Because when you're going to run this ad, it's going to be, you're going to show an image of this shirt, and it needs to, remember when people are on Facebook, they're looking at photos of their friends' kids or, silly cat videos. what is it about your image that's going to get them to stop? And, it's pattern interruption. You're interrupting something else that they're doing. What is it about what you're selling that's going to get them to stop and take a look and then want to click? So you have to accomplish those, one at a time. You got to get the right audience. You've got to have something that looks like something that's going to get them to stop, and then what's going to get them to click through, and then in the end get them to buy.
Okay. Because for the visitors that we have had, I mean, the stats don't look good at all. I mean, like Leah said, over 7,000, almost 8,000 visitors to the Facebook page, and maybe a whopping 30 visits to the store itself.
Right.
And of that, one of them entered in their email address, wanted some information. But that's the long and the short of it.
Yeah. Well, the page.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the page has really become more of a vehicle for a place where you put your posts that you use in your ads. And unless you've got a real highly engaged audience or product, I mean, at some point, when you have lots of, I mean, I usually look at page likes and page engagement as more of a result of successful ad campaigns rather than doing it the other way. I don't drive traffic to my page at all, but I will get traffic to my page when my ads are effective, because I'll get more likes out from those and more people that will see what I post, but not the other way around.
Could I ask you to show us the ad and your audience? I mean, one of the good reasons to build up a Facebook amount of likes is that then, after you know who your people are, you can create lookalike audiences and custom audiences of that subgroup. So you can use your Facebook page sort of as a focus group, basically. But can we see how big your audience is and how you're targeting it?
Okay, one sec here.
Okay, we'll probably have to give him control of the screen, or just give him the presenter view.
Yeah. Let me just say one thing about right here is a Chrome app called the Facebook Pixel Helper, and this is crucial to have this when you're doing your ads on Facebook, because the way Facebook ads work is they'll actually optimize the ads for a specific goal, and basically there's a feedback between your store and Facebook that will make your ads. So there's actually another app called Trackify that I use that basically manages that, and then you use that in your when you're setting up your ads. You set up your objectives using your pixel.
Awesome.
Okay.
Let us know when you're ready to go, Jeremy, when you're ready to show us your screen, and I'll switch it over to you.
Okay, yeah, just 1 second here. I'm my way. So new to this.
Obviously, you can get the replay on this, so you'll be able to, you don't have to worry about taking notes or anything. But if you do come up with any questions, just ask us. Let's see if there's any other questions in the meantime. Oh, Peter Swanson's on here. So Peter Swanson was also in China. So hey, Peter, how are you? So is there a training that talks about all the legal parts of imports, like paperwork and things we need to have? Yes, it's under the importing section. There's about 3 or 4 videos on that. About the only thing that I don't cover is how to fill out that, what is it called? The POA form, which I have a heck of a hard time even filling it out. I've never even filled it out. I have problems with it all the time, but, for some people that like to fill out forms, it's pretty basic. What other trade shows are happening at the same time as the Canton Fair? Look on that TSNN site that Chitai gave us. It's a really good site to look those up. Let's see. Here's somebody says, I purchased some products, had the photos edited on Fiverr, but could not list them because the wording was in conflict with another product. I tried several ways, but was unable to get it listed and shipped for St. Patrick's Day, but still trying to last minute. I don't know how I would catch that immediately. I would take a look at that phrase on the USTPO website, see if you can find anything like Smack talked about earlier. China is April 14th through 17th. Typical duration and cost of sourcing trip to China. We're there for a total of 5 days, and it's $10,000 payable in 2 payments. Like I said, it's not for the brand new person. It's for somebody. And, it can be for the brand new person if you're ready and really ambitious, but it's going to be only those people that will take the opportunity. LA and Miami meetups, Helen. LA meetup is once a month. On the first, I know it's at Dupars in Pasadena. What day is it, Frank? The first of.
I think it's Thursday.
First Thursday of every month at Dupars in Pasadena. Do you know the time, Frank?
I don't remember. I haven't gone since Christmas, so.
Okay, I haven't just gone because I'm not in LA that often. I would say just PM me later when one of the main organizers of the group is back from vacation. I will get the date for you.
Hey, Liz.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt here. I'm having a small issue with my Facebook ads account not opening.
Okay. Take your time. What questions?
Yeah, something went wrong.
No problem.
Is your post available on your page?
That I can check.
Or is it a dark post?
I think it's a dark post, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and just keep trying, Jeremy, and I'll, in the meantime, answer some of these questions that we did not hit. For retail arbitrage, when listing a product that is still in the original packaging and has not been opened, do you list it as new or used? If it's new, I list it new. So that's what I do. If it looks used, then I list it as like new or good or one of those other ones. Shopify allow multiple stores on one account, and must we open one store per shopping account? You have to have one store per shopping account. If the company that makes the product doesn't do shipping, don't use them, Susan. Get another company. There's plenty of companies out there. Let's see. What else? How do you know if the products are any good if you're building sites of products that are not yours? You don't, Neil. You sort of have to take a risk. You guys are the shit. Thank you, Eric. You say that every time, and I never get tired of it. Even though it sounds like I'm tired of it, but I'm running a fever. Let's see. I'm not seeing many questions, so let's see if Jeremy's able to get that working.
Still trying to get this figured out. It's just sitting here loading and it's saying something went wrong, so I refresh it and loading and yeah.
Okay. Are you trying to open the Power Editor?
Trying just to get into my Facebook ads account.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's a quick question for you, Frank. I'm not sure if I don't know. I don't think you said you sold this. So who would you target initially for the Dreamcatcher watch?
Initially, people that were interested in dream catchers.
I don't even know what dream catchers are, so that goes to show you how far behind I am.
Yeah. I found there was an audience. It wasn't huge, but it's all about you got to find the people that would. I mean, that's the way I go after it. You find the people that would identify with the item, and then if I see an item that I really like and I can't find. If I don't believe I can find an audience for it, I don't sell it. I don't try it.
Okay, next question. Where is the information about the Cabo trip? If you're interested, just PM me on Facebook and I'll connect you with John Gill. He can give you a call and let you know what it is. You can buy products printed on your own label on the product. I'm not sure I understand that, Anders. Here's somebody. I had a shipment lost by Amazon and they reimbursed me $1,000. I want to go all in. Should I try carefully with this credit in case they find my shipment? If they find your shipment, they're going to actually put that as a credit against your account, and then you'll have to have that paid within the next time that they actually bill you. So, I mean, it's kind of like up to you what you want to do. Fine jewelry is very difficult to get approved in Bernard. That was basically the answer. When am I coming to London? I'm actually going to be having a mastermind in London, Jose. It's going to be in June. I've got so many requests to go back to London for a mastermind, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to be there in June, somewhere in London. It's going to be awesome. I get some unfulfilled units when Amazon received them marked as warehouse damage. Do I need to do something to get refunded for them? Yes, you do. You need to send customer service an email with those units and the date of the shipment, and they will refund you for that. They're going to look into it, obviously, but that's what they're going to do. What theme is Jeremy using? Jeremy, what theme are you using? I think we lost Jeremy, so we'll get him right back and ask him in a minute.
Sorry about that. The theme is minimal.
Okay, it's a minimal theme. Another question. Right now I work for Costco and I'm establishing relationships with our MR department. I see an opportunity to be merching through like a salvage method. Is there any pitfall to this method I should watch out for? I mean, if you have Costco's permission, go for it. It's not out of the ordinary to do that, but just make sure you get their permission. Here's just some constructive feedback for you. And I think it's pretty much, Jeremy, what Frank said. The Raven phone cases are too plain, too much white, but the images are beautiful. So exactly what Frank said. They love the images, but especially that Raven, I think it's epic. It kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones, but they want some words on there is basically what they're saying. Theme for Ashley Jill was impulsive. What target audience would you suggest Jeremy start looking at on Facebook? Should he look for magazines or something better? I'd probably hit up Game of Thrones crowd. It reminds me of like Winter's Coming. I know it's usually a crow, but I'm even a Game of Thrones fan. I was like, this looks much cooler than the crow.
Coming up with some words to accompany the image, that won't be overly hard to come up with.
Right. Okay.
That I can do.
Here's the next one. What is selling internationally for Amazon? Is that geared more towards private label? Selling internationally with Amazon, it depends. You can use different models. You can send it to other Amazon FB fulfillment centers like in Europe, or you can sell internationally from the US, which means your product will be available to customers in other countries. Of course, they have to pay a higher amount for the shipping, or you have to make them pay the shipping. So I don't do either yet, but certainly thinking about getting into that soon. Frank, I saw that your listings had a countdown timer. Do you have an app for that?
That's part of the theme.
Awesome. Part of the theme, impulsive. When doing retail arbitrage, do you recommend we stay away from store brand products? It's a lot of Big Lots products that seem good, but they have Big Lots tags. You can take those off or just mark them off with a marker. Just do it as carefully and as nicely as possible. Any tips on finding target audiences, Frank?
Well, yeah, it really is everything. You just need to spend the time to do it right.
Right. The other thing I think, Jeremy, one of the things you mentioned that I forgot to make a comment about is for this particular product, you said you had spent $35 of advertising. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't think that's enough, especially since you're sending it to your Facebook fan page, like Frank said. I think you probably need to spend a little bit more, but now do it the way Frank said, because I think $35 is way too little to actually test the market. I could be wrong. It's not too little to test an individual market, but there's so many different target audiences. So what I'm saying is that $35 overall for testing several target audiences, I still think is too small an amount. You should definitely be trying other target audiences, like Frank said, but now running them the way that Frank told you. So would you agree with that, Frank, or not? I'm just saying that
well,
from that perspective.
you need to find who your target audience is, and then you're going to need to test that. And that's going to, you need to find who those people are. She's mentioned Game of Thrones, if that's one that fits, or people that you've got something about eagles or ravens. That's something you have to find out who those people are who like that.
Yeah, I think it reminds me really of Game of Thrones big time. It kind of even reminds me a little bit of Harry Potter. I'm not sure. I think there was an actual school called Ravenclaw or something.
Yes.
So maybe something like that. But it's definitely you have to think of and test them out. I know a lot of people that say, test this out for $5, but send them to your store or to the particular product, like Frank said, get that pixel set up. And definitely from a conversion perspective, having your own URL, you need to get that set ASAP. I don't think you need an SSL like you were saying, Jeremy. I think Shopify handles all that for you. It's real easy to connect in the back end. You just need to change it because from a conversion perspective, having your own URL converts a lot better than if somebody sees, what was the name of your site? Something Raven, immortal-raven.myshopify.com. When they see that, it's sort of like, is this a scam? Whereas if they see immortal-raven.com, that's more or less, okay, this isn't a scam. This is actually a real store. So that's certainly what I would do. What I would also do is if your actual friend's girlfriend is an artist, have her do an Immortal Raven logo. It's just plain up there at the top, but adding that really nice logo at the top or some words on that actual front picture where you land on the site and you just see the picture of the Raven. Having some words on there also helps because it makes it seem like you're branded and you're selling these products and you're a professional store as opposed to having the .myshopify.com. Again, that definitely helps with conversion. It just shows that you're a real business. In fact, it's kind of a funny story, but I put up a site for my mom one time. She sold these really ridiculous dolls that she would make. And, I put it up there. I put a logo up there. I put all that and I put just a couple pictures of the dolls. We did nothing to the site. We just let it sit there and she would actually get orders. So I don't know how she did it, but because of the fact that it had a valid URL, it had the pay buttons and it had a logo, it looked like a real store. People would order it and I didn't even do anything to it. So what I'm saying is with this, when people see the .myshopify.com, immediately they wonder, is this a real store or is it not? So I think from a conversion perspective, that'll help you big time. I would do it immediately before I continued spending money on ads.
Okay. I was also able to pull up one of the Facebook ads that
okay, cool. Let me switch it over. Let's switch it over to you, Jeremy. Let's see what we got here. Jeremy. Oh, you're on staff now.
Just so you know, Shopify, I didn't have to pay for a certificate. They're including this.
Right.
It's now all SSL.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you. It's not necessary.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't send any ads. None of my ads. All my ads always go to one of my domains. I don't send it to anybody else's site, whether it's Shopify or Lead Pages or ClickFunnels. I always use my own domain in anything that I send, because you'll get lumped into that group. I mean, there's that web of trust that Facebook uses, so you don't want to get lumped into other people that may have used somebody else's domain.
Right, absolutely. Okay. That will definitely help you immediately, Jeremy, from a conversion perspective. And again, like Frank said, do not send traffic to it until you do that. So I have switched presenter over to you. I'm not seeing your screen yet. Did you accept that?
Just did.
Here we go. Okay, so here's the ad. Let's see what Frank and Smack have to say about it.
Okay.
It's very simple, very basic.
Well, I think some background of some type would help, and show. Typically, black shirts tend to look better on these ads than a white shirt, but some type of a background would make a difference.
Okay.
And
I definitely wouldn't put the price up top on there. You want people to have to click through to find out the price.
Okay.
I don't know if we're looking at your ad and can see what the engagement is and the number of people that have engaged, but I think the engagement, the ad will go up if you take the price off.
Okay.
And then I usually use the Learn More button rather than Shop Now.
Okay, use Learn More. Yeah, we actually flipped the coin on that one, to be honest. Should we use this or should we? Yeah. But that's one of the campaign ads. This is the page itself.
Okay.
Several posts going. Pictures of the products and some of the art, like that. This raven right here. That's a picture of the original sketch.
One other thing you might want to do on your actual pages, I didn't see your pages, Jeremy, but put the fact that it's created exclusively by a artist and write her like a little bio, making her seem like she's the shit.
Okay.
It might help a little bit. And that's what I would do because that shows that it's custom piece of art now on there instead of just like a print.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely use the artist name.
Yeah, to make it seem more sexy, like exclusive something created by artist blah blah blah.
Yeah,
limited run. Get them now. Scarcity. Limited availability of exclusive. Jane Smith artwork.
Right, exactly what Max said. So showing the exclusivity, the scarcity, like she said, limited, exclusive run, limited amount by artist Jon Snow.
Gratuitous Game of Thrones reference, I like that.
Exactly. Exactly. A webinar without a Game of Thrones reference. So any other comments from Frank or Smack before we get back into questions and call it a day?
Jeremy, you can't show us your the back end of the ad so we can see your audience. I mean, I guess I'm concerned in seeing how broad it is, what the conversions have been, to see if we can help you narrow it and target it, so you could do a series of 5 ads with 5 different audiences.
I will see what I'm able to do, but it is just being unbelievably stubborn. Oh, goody. It finally loaded.
Awesome. So let Smack see what she wanted to see, and then we'll get into these questions and call it
the audience.
Okay?
There's irony for you.
I guess I just needed to ask nicely.
Smack threatened to hurt the platform.
Yeah, and you definitely want to use get that pixel installed and use website conversions, and typically works real good off the start using the add to cart objective.
Okay. No, I like everything that is being suggested is going to be implemented tonight.
Fantastic. That's what I like about you. You're not sitting on the couch, picking your nose, sitting on your ass, doing nothing. You're at least out there hustling. So keep on hustling and use some of these tricks that Frank talked about tonight or Smack talked about tonight and see what happens. Like I said, that's definitely something I can respect about you. And I'm sure everybody out here is thankful that you showed them their site. Guys, he just took action. He, like you said earlier, he really doesn't know what he's doing, but he took some action. So let's give him a hashtag Jeremy for taking some action. We should have probably given him a hashtag action, but I just like the fact to give him his name.
Jeremy, let's go in and look at your audience.
Smack, narrowing down. Smack is on the attack today.
Well, I'm going to help the guy. He just lost his job yesterday. He needs to make some money.
Thanks. Ouch, but thanks.
No, I mean, seriously, we've got to get this going for you. We need to spend some more money on ads, but let's look at the audience.
Well, like I said yesterday when I made that Facebook post, is unfortunate timing, crappy situation, but also one hell of an opportunity. So, gotta take advantage.
So just click on the where it says T-shirt campaign, and so we can see what you're targeting.
Sorry.
Because Frank's real good at this. We have him here, so let's get his opinions.
So go to the right-hand side and that right-hand box and scroll down a little bit. And it should have your...
Need to minimize this. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so scroll bar down a little bit. Okay, and where it says see under targeting, it says see more?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, yeah, you're going very, very broad. T-shirts, animals, or original T-shirts. Yeah, you need to find who your audience is, who because that's extremely broad. You got 15 clicks. It's 67. For being this broad, it's now you look down there where it says relevance score. You don't ever want to be anywhere for selling a consumer product. You don't want to ever be under like a 7 for that. That means it's 1 through 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. And in fact, I would recommend turning this ad off, because this is something that Facebook looks at too. If at some point they review your account, and if you have the majority of your ads have a low relevance score, that just means that the people you're showing it to are just not interested. And Facebook, what my Facebook ad reps tells me is that they make their money on ads, but it's the experience that keeps the people there. And so that relevance needs to be, for consumer type products, should be 8s, 9s, and 10s.
Okay.
So that's something you want to look at. I mean, you want to find the people. I mean, you've got eagles, T-shirts. T-shirts is definitely an interest you wouldn't use, or animals. But you want to find the people that would be specifically interested in ravens or something, some niche that would be interested in that. So that when I said something about having some sort of wording or phrase on that along with the artwork, then that would be a matter of finding some type of a niche and putting something that would resonate with that group using that artwork.
Okay, that's actually easily done especially for the Raven. I mean, Edgar Allan Poe, problem solved. So
yeah, a couple people posted that here in the questions. Could target Edgar Allan Poe fans.
Yeah, no, that's
Raven. So you could definitely start there. Let's see if there's any other suggestions here. Okay, anything else for Jeremy Smack or Frank?
How would I turn off this ad campaign? Just hit the ad set button on top here?
You can turn off the ad set, but yeah, you'll typically turn off the whole campaign at the other level. The other thing I'd say is when you're setting up a site like this, just make sure you test all of your products, how they look and they feel in the checkout process on a mobile device, because you're very likely going to get 80% of your sales from a mobile device.
Yes, absolutely. That's one thing that we have noticed is a majority of the traffic going to the Facebook page and what has gone to the website, to the store itself, has been mobile.
Right. And typically I don't target people under 26 because they usually don't have money.
Yeah, 18 is probably not a good idea.
Okay, no, this is fantastic, fantastic stuff. I like this. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
And Jeremy, we really appreciate you going, revealing everything, opening the kimono, so to speak, because people who haven't started this yet, now can really take a look at, what's involved.
Right. So yeah, Jeremy, keep on hustling. Something funny. My mom just put her 2 cents in a minute ago. She's like, I really have to admire that man. He just lost his job and he's already out there hustling.
Yeah.
So wise words from a crazy, wacky lady.
Yeah, just keep asking lots of questions, because this is where all of us, everybody that does this kind of thing, we started off not knowing anything, not knowing what we were doing, and made lots of mistakes. And if you got somebody that you can ask questions to, then Facebook is a terrific place to be able to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Okay. So thank you so much, Jeremy. Get in there. You might want to post something about your shirts in one of the groups and get some suggestions from people. Get some ideas for audiences and take it from there. But a couple good suggestions here. Again, the Game of Thrones one, the Edgar Allan Poe fans. What else do we have here? That's really about it.
And you can set them up as separate ads.
Right.
You can also do interests the way you could use that T-shirt thing is you could do Edgar Allan Poe fans and then have it that they also have to be, interested in T-shirts or sweatshirts. You can use it as an also interest. And the same thing, Game of Thrones fans. So you know that there are people that buy that stuff.
Right. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for joining us, Jeremy. I'm going to switch back to my screen here and get a couple more questions answered, and then we're going to call it a night. Again, guys, Frank Keeney is going to create some sort of OMG training for you guys, so it's kind of exciting for the future. So we'll see when we can get him on here and take it from there. Let me see if I can give myself. Didn't realize my name is Mike Long here. So, okay, so here we're back. Let's look at the last set of questions here and then call it a night. Let's see. How often should I be running Facebook ads to my store? I have run 2 without any success. How do you suggest my daily budget should be?
Well, I mean, I usually start off ads small, like $5 a day for consumer items. And I mean, like I've mentioned about doing website conversion, having that pixel installed and doing that I find is the most effective way. And just know that it does take Facebook some time to optimize the ad. You may need to run it for two, maybe 3 days for it to actually start optimizing. But if you've got the right item in front of the correct audience, you should, in most cases, you'll start seeing sales the same day.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. How do you market season items like paper plate napkins that you mentioned before? I have a great designer and an upcoming holiday in mind. You market them the same way you market any product. You just start a couple months prior to the actual holiday. You run ads. You do all the same things that you do. You do giveaways, all the same things you do for a regular product. You just do it on seasonal. And really, they are a lot simpler to rank because not a lot of people are focusing on them because it's just a couple month window of opportunity for making some money. How do we set up payment options on the site? That's all done in the back end of Shopify. Is it possible to go straight into private label without doing retail arbitrage? I've been scanning, but I haven't found many products with a big enough profit margin, probably because I can only devote 1 to 3 hours. Yes, you can. It's just you got to understand that you're going to make a lot more mistakes on the back end. It might be a little bit discouraging because of the fact that you're doing things that you're not used to. When you have that retail arbitrage background, it helps you greatly. But you can certainly do it, and you also have to have a larger bankroll than retail arbitrage. So that's a couple things that you have to consider. Be prepared to make mistakes. Do you have to have an e-com store to get into the hot seat? No, you do not. We got Jacob Scott lined up for one next. If you're interested, let me know. If anyone would like to do a meetup in Chicago after the trade show, I would love to. So that is for SMAC. SMAC, if you want to do a meetup after that, announce it in the OMG group. I don't understand about installing Pixel and using website conversions. Beth, Frank's going to go shortly into that in a future webinar. So sit tight. You'll get to the basics behind that. Frank, I watched your keyword method applied to my sites, adding the keywords, however, not getting any impressions. How can I trigger those keywords to get impressions? Jacob, you have to be running traffic, I believe. I think that's what Frank's going to tell you. Is that right?
I'm not really sure if I understand the question, but he's running ads and trying to...
I don't think he's running ads. I think he said he applied your keyword method. I don't quite remember what Frank's keyword method was. Were you putting keywords in the back end of Shopify, maybe?
I know Jacob's been posting questions about keywords in Amazon and Amazon PPC. Okay,
you want to see Jack's replay, which is up. You're the one that let me know that, Jacob, or Heisenberg replay, either one. And to repeat some of the past calls, ninja tips, we haven't actually done them in the past 2 weeks, and it's just because I've been super busy. I haven't actually prepared the guests, so don't have them. Thank you, Erica. What time of day do you start your Facebook ads, Frank?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
What time of day do you start your Facebook ads?
I set them to start up early the next morning, like at 2 or 3 a.m., just so they get a full day.
Awesome. I collected a lot of audio recordings for family member lessons and memories. How should I market this through Kindle? What's the target audience? I would imagine you would have to write some sort of book with lessons, but I think that's going to be a difficult thing to actually market. That's just my opinion, Nova. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
So he wants to market how to do that to other people?
How to market a product that's a lot of audio recordings from family members' lessons and memories.
Okay, so like a how-to type of like ebook or something?
I think it's an ebook. The one thing that I would do is listen to the webinar that we did. Which one was it, Smack? It was the hot seat with Richard Dodson, I think it was. Is that his name? No, not Richard Dodson.
No, it was Dick. Well, the book was Dick B.
Yeah, Ken Burns and his dad, Dick Burns. We did a webinar there where LC, I don't remember his initials, came on and talked about how she would market Kindle. I recommend you listen to that. So Jacob says he's not talking about Amazon. I don't recall Frank talking about putting keywords in the back of Shopify. Did you ever talk about that, Frank?
No, well, it's not something in Shopify, but in Facebook, it's not a keyword-based advertising platform. It's all based on interests.
Okay.
So that's
That's why I think.
Oh,
I
go
think
ahead.
Jacob's questions are Amazon ads.
Oh, okay.
I think that's my guess because he's been posting lots of questions
He
about
said
them.
not Amazon, but I don't remember Frank at all talking about keywords in Shopify.
No.
Oh, Jacob, he says here, Liz, I said I am talking about Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Jacob. So look at, I don't think Frank talked. Did you talk about that, Frank? I thought that was Heisenberg and Jack.
About interest?
About keywords in Amazon.
No, that wasn't me.
Okay. Look at the Heisenberg and Jack webinars. Okay, I'm going to take 2 more questions and then we're done. Should you let Facebook run your ads continually all day or just schedule them when you would most likely see them?
Well, in that manager, you schedule them. They just run all day. Well, with website conversion, it needs to do. There's when you're doing like an add to cart objective, there's feedback between your shopping cart and Facebook, and so Facebook will actually optimize your ad, put the ad in front of people that are most likely to purchase or to add to cart or view the item. So typically, you're going to run that all the time.
Okay, awesome. And last question, is there a rule of thumb for oversized products with FBA? Not really, Nova. You just have to be willing to put in extra money because of the fact that oversized products are going to cost you more money to ship over, not just from China. You're going to have to send them by sea freight. So it takes a little bit of guts because most people are really afraid of sea freight when they first get started. It's not really as scary as it sounds. Every now and then you will get a surprise inspection. I just got a surprise inspection on some of my products. It costs extra. So I definitely wasn't ready for that, but I know they've been doing that more and more. The other thing is the fact that you're going to have to also be willing to understand that you're going to get larger Amazon fees. At the same time, it's going to require a larger bankroll for you to get started in that. But at the end of the day, a lot less people are willing to do that because it does cost more money up front. And it's just a market that you could very easily do very well in because of that fact. So it's going to be, like I said, larger amount of money up front, but the benefits can be pretty good on the back end because of the fact that not a lot of people, especially newbies, are going to be able to clutter the market with higher priced items because of the upfront capital required. So hopefully that answers your question. And other than that, I think we're pretty much done. So that's going to end it for us. And we will be back next week. We still don't know what we're going to talk about in the future. Somebody's asking for future webinar pricing strategies. I haven't thought about what we're going to do next week. I don't have anybody lined up for the call yet. I'll figure that out here coming up in the next couple of weeks. I think Smack has something that she wants to actually talk about, but I don't know if she's going to be ready this week. She might have to wait till next week.
Well, next week, I'm going to be on a plane home from Chicago.
Oh,
so although I'll probably be able to listen, I'm not sure if the Wi-Fi calling and stuff works on the plane. That would be sort of weird. So
yeah, okay. Let's
we shall see.
A hashtag since we did none whatsoever, which is kind of nice break from them. But I don't even know what to say at this point. I'm pretty tired. Smack, any idea?
No, I just do want to say one thing, though, that I just got a message from Jacob. Frank is not Heisenberg.
Right.
Okay? So I think that was part of the confusion. Okay? Frank is not Heisenberg.
Yeah, Frank's not Heisenberg. Heisenberg is only one guy and very much underground dude. He doesn't want to be on here that often. He will be on for an additional webinar at some point, but let's just give a hashtag get well. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to jump in bed and go to bed, and you probably won't see me until next week. So, thanks for everybody for coming out, and I'll see you next week. And we'll update everybody on what the next webinar will be. If you have any suggestions, put some suggestions in the Facebook group. we're always taking them. Let me know who you want to hear. Let me know who's exciting. You know, if you didn't like John Gill, which I can totally see why you wouldn't. I don't like the guy half the time. So if you didn't like the webinar with John Gill, let me know that so that I never invite him again. So if you want to hear some other people that are out there, let me know who you want me to bring on. I'll be more than happy to bring them on. So thanks again, guys, for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Have a nice night.